Hey guys, we're getting a little personal in the bathroom today, and why I choose to use these long male catheters instead of something small and female. Female, tiny, little short one. Male, 16 inches. So this, you really have to be sitting on the toilet or peeing into something that, you know, might get your hands dirty, quite possibly much more than using the long one. So my trick, do this with my pants on. Move my butt to the edge of the chair. I do this with shoes too. It doesn't matter. Everybody's dirty butts touch it. And this is why I learned to do this way, so that I didn't have to touch every public toilet seat on the travels that I've been on. I couldn't imagine having to do so. So I open up both ends of the catheter package to use it as a range extender. Flip that end in there to hit the toilet, and then I'm able to cath from this position out of my own chair, my own germs over here. Public restrooms or, you know, anywhere I can cath by propping a foot on a stump in the woods and not have to worry about it. So this is how I do it. And then when I'm done, this is fine because it's just a tube for it. You push this back in the way it goes, and then I take this catheter, and for years before I was taught by a friend of mine that you can actually fold it in half and with dexterity in hands tie it in a knot. And this goes a long way when you are visiting, especially somebody that has a really tiny garbage can, because they're not used to all this plastic, which is still bullshit, and they should have either biodegradable catheters or I need to figure out how to use them more times than one into the trash. And this is another thing that I have, and I found right away, was a really big garbage can so that you can fit catheters and wipes and materials in here and not have to empty it every day like a tiny little bathroom one. And it has the lid that opens and closes to keep all of whatever is in there, nowhere else. And then the other trick that I have, because now I don't have hands for umbrellas, I repurposed my umbrella holder into the catheter container. So I'm able to put the entire box of catheters into my owl that I can no longer use because I don't use umbrellas, and it lives with me in the bathroom instead of the foyer. So, next stop, we're going to do this in the vehicle so that you can see how it works without a toilet, and how I'm able to be on the road without always having to find access to a washroom. So I travel a lot. I spend hundreds, thousands of hours in the driver's seat of a vehicle. That said, accessible bathrooms are hard enough to come by on a good day. So immediately when I was in rehab after my injury, I was trying to figure out how to cath from my chair, my wheelchair, any chair that isn't necessarily at the washroom, so that I could use the catheter to pee into an empty bottle or some sort of container, or attach a hose to the thing if I had to and put it on the lawn or in the driveway. So I learned that I'm able to, from the driver's seat, move the steering wheel out of the way, which is another reason why some hand controls are a little janky, but you're able to push the seat all the way back and down. This was always necessary when I first started to do it. I've since then learned to maneuver my body different ways, so it helps. But I'm able to push my butt out and forward and cath from kind of a super lazy position. I use a male catheter, which is a 16-inch thing, so that I'm able to not have to worry about peeing on myself or the seat. With this catheter, I'm able to go from my wheelchair directly into the toilet without transferring onto the thing. And sorry for the TMIs that are watching. You can choose or not choose to watch the rest of this. So I use the male catheter. I open both ends of it like this. So it creates a real long plastic tube so that when I use this, I'm able to flip it around, and it's a range extender. So some people have hoses that you're able to attach with the adapter in there. I find that plastic starts to smell really bad really fast. So I go and buy a juice or a water or a soda, what have you, in a container, and will cath from my seat without anything on it into the bottle, and I'm able to just dump it out wherever I am, or save it until they're put the lid on and wait until you're in an appropriate spot to dump it out, because who knows when you're gonna have to pee. You never really do. Sometimes you don't catch it at all, but you know, that's a whole different topic. But if you don't have the bottle and you're in the vehicle, then you're also able to use this range extender and the male catheter, which, yes, pollutes the world more than a female one, but I still, even cathing on the toilet, prefer to use a male catheter just so, you know, common. But this just goes straight out the door, onto the ground, pretty easy. There's catheters are better than others, again, another topic. I have crappy ones, damage your insides. But that saves me a ton of time on the road. If I constantly had to look for an accessible washroom, I would quite possibly have backed my bladder up into my kidneys. It's not very healthy to hold it, and myself, I have incontinence issues, so my ability to hold it is slim to negative, and usually in the negative. Always a problem since like 2 weeks after my injury. So anybody dealing with that, sorry, but you know, deal with it. Yeah, it's a time saver. It's a stress relief when I don't have to worry about, I can just pull over on the side of the road. I can do it in my vehicle where I'm comfortable and don't have to worry about other people's germs when I'm, you know, traveling, or if you feel unsafe when you travel alone. It's just a really neat skill to develop. Yes, if you want to call it a skill. But yeah, it just makes life a lot easier to be able to do it from your chair, and that in public places you don't have to touch dirty toilet seats. Yeah, that was really the number one thing when I came out of rehab that I wanted to know how to do. And the first question and barrier breaking thing for me that I asked peers was, how do you pee? So, you know, if you had any sort of dignity or reservations about how you speak to people, it's all going to change real fast. Thanks for listening.